Call this meeting to order, the Rockledge City Council regular meeting, Wednesday, September the 20th, 2017, and it is 6 p.m. City Clerk, you want to call the roll, please?
Mayor Price.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Ferguson.
Here.
Councilman O'Neill.
Here.
Councilman Forrester.
Here.
Councilman Dasky.
Here.
Councilman Hartzell.
Here.
City Attorney Minute Clear.
Here.
City Manager Fetro.
Here.
Okay, our invocation tonight is by Deputy Mayor O'Neill. Please stand for the invocation. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Heavenly Father, we ask that you guide us as we gather together here today, intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faiths give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. May we keep in our prayers the victims of both Hurricane Irma and Maria, as the storm is still ongoing, as well as Hurricane Jose that threatens the Northeast United States. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Salute the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, the council has before them the minutes of the regular meeting September 6, 2017. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Dasky.
move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting on September 6, 2017.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Presentations, none. I get a break tonight. Financial budget report. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I move to be in receipt of the financial budget report for the month of August 2017.
A second. We have a motion. We have a second. Does anybody have any discussion on the budget? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, for those of you in the audience, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ordinances and resolutions and public hearings we have to get through to establish our budget for the upcoming year, October 1st. So just bear with us. It might be boring for some of you, but we'll get through it shortly. Okay, public hearing, fiscal year 2018 general administrative budget and taxable year 2017 millage rate. At this time, I open this matter to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak on our fiscal year 2018 general administrative budget and taxable year 2017 millage rate? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on this budget coming up? Seeing none, I close public hearing. Our next is resolution B.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I offer a resolution adopting the finalized millage rate for ad valorem taxation for 2017 for reading in its entirety and for public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mr. City Attorney.
Resolution adopting the finalized millage rate for ad valorem taxation by the City of Rockledge, Florida for the year 2017, stating the percent by which the millage rate to be levied exceeds the rollback millage rate computed pursuant to Section 1 of Section 200.065 Florida statutes, and levying an ad valorem tax upon all taxable properties in the City of Rockledge for the year 2017 at the rate of $6.20 for every $1,000 of assessed property valuation. Whereas pursuant to Section 200.0652C Florida statutes on September 6, 2017, the Rockledge City Council conducted a public hearing and resolved that the proposed millage rate for 2017 ad valorem taxes in said city was $6.20, per $1,000 of assessed valuation. And whereas pursuant to Section 200.0652D Florida statutes, the Rockledge City Council has, on this date, i.e. September 20th, 2017, conducted another public hearing to finalize and adopt a millage rate for 2017 ad valorem taxes in the city of Rockledge, and desires to hereby levy an ad valorem tax on at the adopted millage rate upon all taxable properties in the city of Rockledge. Now therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Rockledge, Florida as follows. Section 1, the millage rate for 2017 ad valorem taxation in the city of Rockledge is hereby finalized, established, and set at $6.20 per $1,000 of assessed valuation. Section 2, an ad valorem tax at the rate of $6.20 for every $1,000 of assessed valuation of taxable property in the city of Rockledge be, and the same is hereby levied for the year 2017 on all taxable properties in the city of Rockledge, Florida, as shown on the tax rolls for said year as prepared by the Brevard County Property Appraiser. Section 3, the percent by which said finalized and established millage rate of $6.20 per $1,000 exceeds the rollback rate of $5.9729 per $1,000 is 3.80%. Section 4, the percentage increase in 2017 property taxes as finalized and adopted by the Rockledge City Council is 3.80%. Section 5, this resolution is adopted by the Rockledge City Council prior to the adoption of the final general administrative budget for the 2017-2018 fiscal year of said city. Passed and adopted at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Rockledge, Florida, this 20th day of September 2017.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on. Open it to the public.
Public hearing, sorry.
At this time, I open this to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak on the finalized millage rate for the ad valorem tax rate of 6.20 in the city of Rockledge? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on our tax rate? Seeing none, close public hearing. Mr. Forrester.
Mr. Chairman, move for adoption of the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. C, ordinance, second reading, public hearing, ordinance, fiscal year 2018 general administrative budget. Who's giving?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
offer an ordinance number 2017, for second reading and public hearing for the fiscal year 2018 general administrative budget by title only.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mr. City Attorney.
Ordinance number 1715-2017. An ordinance of the City of Rockledge, Brevard County, Florida, determining the anticipated revenue and expenses and the general administrative operations of said city for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018, appropriating funds for payment of the anticipated expenses of the City of Rockledge for said fiscal year, and adopting the general administrative budget of said city for said fiscal year, authorizing the Rockledge City Manager to make certain transfers of appropriations in said budget, declaring that invalidity of any portion hereof shall not affect the remaining course of this ordinance, providing for the effective date hereof and for other purposes.
At this time, I open this up to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak on the second reading, public hearing on our fiscal year 2018 general administrative budget? Is there anybody in the audience like to speak on this? Seeing none, I close that. Pleasure to council.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Move on. D, ordinance. Second reading and public hearing, fiscal year 2018 Stormwater Management Fund balance. Who's going to give me this one?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'd offer an ordinance number 1716-2017, the fiscal year 2018 sewer system budget.
Whoa.
Mr. Mayor, you stated it was the stormwater, it's actually the sewer budget.
I apologize. Is that D then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
D is the sewer.
1716, 2017 is the sewer system.
Okay, Pat, did you have it right?
I did.
Okay. I apologize. Keep going.
Sewer system budget for second reading by title only and public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mr. City Attorney.
Number 1716-2017, an ordinance of the City of Rockledge, Brevard County, Florida, determining the anticipated revenue and expenses for the operation of the Rockledge sewer system during the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018. Appropriating funds for the payment of the anticipated expenses of the Rockledge sewer system for said fiscal year and adopting the budget for the operation of the Rockledge sewer system for said fiscal year. Authorizing the Rockledge City Manager to make certain transfers of appropriations in said budget, providing that invalidity of any portion hereof shall not affect the remaining portion of this ordinance, providing for the effective date hereof and for other purposes.
At this time, I open this to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak on our second reading for the fiscal year 2018 sewer system budget? Is there anybody in the audience that'd like to speak on our sewer system budget? Seeing none, I close the public hearing. Pleasure to council.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. E, ordinance. Second reading, public hearing, fiscal year 2018 stormwater management fund balance. I got it right this time.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
offer an ordinance number 1717-2017 for second reading and public hearing for the fiscal year 2018 stormwater management fund budget.
We have a
It
motion.
by title only.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. City Attorney.
Don't hesitate like that. It scared me. Ordinance number 1717-2017, an ordinance of the City of Rockledge, Brevard County, Florida, determining the anticipated revenue and expenses for the operation of the Rockledge Stormwater Management Fund during the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018. Appropriating funds for the payment of the anticipated expenses of the operation, administration, and maintenance of the stormwater drainage facilities of the City of Rockledge, and to carry out all other purposes of the utility for said fiscal year, and adopting the budget for the operation of the Rockledge stormwater drainage facilities for said fiscal year. Authorizing the Rockledge City Manager to make certain transfers of appropriations in said budget, providing that invalidity of any portion hereof shall not affect the remaining portions of this ordinance, providing for the effective date hereof and for other purposes.
At this time, I open this to the public. Anybody would like to speak on the second reading of the fiscal year 2018 stormwater management fund balance? Is there anybody in the audience that'd like to speak on our stormwater management fund balance? Seeing none, declare this closed to the public. What's the council?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's move on to F. Ordinance, second reading, public hearing, fiscal year 2018 sanitation services budget. What's the pleasure to council?
Mr. Chairman,
Good.
move for the, or offer an ordinance number 1718-2017 for the second reading and public hearing, fiscal year 2018 sanitation services budget by title only.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mr. City Attorney.
1718-2017, an ordinance of the City of Rockledge, Brevard County, Florida, determining the anticipated revenue and expenses for the operation of the Rockledge Sanitation Services during the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018. Appropriating funds for payment of the anticipated expenses of the Rockledge Sanitation Service for said fiscal year. Authorizing the Rockledge City Manager to make certain transfers of appropriations in said budget, providing that invalidity of any portion hereof shall not affect the remaining portion of this ordinance, providing for the effective date hereof and for other purposes.
At this time, I open this to the public. Anybody that would like to speak on our fiscal year 2018 sanitation services budget? Is there anybody in the audience like to speak on our 2018 sanitation services budget? Seeing none, close the public hearing. What's the pleasure to council?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Forrester.
Move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
Motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. G, ordinance, second reading and public hearing. Fiscal Year 2018 Community Redevelopment Agency Management Fund Budget. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I offer ordinance 1719-2017, the fiscal year 2018 Community Redevelopment Agency Management Fund Budget for second reading by title only in public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mr. City Attorney.
Ordinance number 1719-2017, an ordinance of the City of Rockledge, Brevard County, Florida, determining the anticipated revenue and expenses for the operation of the Rockledge Community Redevelopment Agency Management Fund during the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018. Appropriating funds for the payment of the anticipated expenses of operation, administration, and maintenance of the Rockledge Community Redevelopment Agency, and to carry out all other purposes of the Community Redevelopment Agency for said fiscal year, and adopting the budget of the operation of the City Community Redevelopment Agency for said fiscal year, authorizing the Rockledge City Manager to make certain transfers of appropriations in said budget, providing that the invalidity portion hereof shall not affect the remaining portions of this ordinance, providing for the effective date hereof and for other purposes.
At this time, I open this to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak on our Community Redevelopment Agency Management Fund balance for 2018? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on the 2018 Community Redevelopment Agency Management Fund budget? Seeing none, I close the public hearing. Pleasure to council.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's move on. H, ordinance, second reading and public hearing. Fiscal year 2018 rental facilities budget. Pleasure to council.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Dash.
offer an ordinance number 1720-2017 for the second reading and public hearing titled Fiscal Year 2018 Rental Facilities Budget by title only.
We have a
Second.
motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. City Attorney.
Ordinance number 1720-2017, an ordinance of the City of Rockledge, Brevard County, Florida, determining the anticipated revenue and expenses for the operation of the Rockledge rental facilities during the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018. Appropriating funds for the payment of the anticipated expenses of the Rockledge rental facilities for said fiscal year, authorizing the Rockledge City Manager to make certain transfers of appropriations in said budget, providing that invalidity in any portion hereof shall not affect the remaining portion of this ordinance, provided for the effective date hereof and for other purposes.
At this time, I open this to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak on the fiscal year 2018 rental facilities budget? Is there anybody that would like to speak on our rental facilities budget? Seeing none, I close public hearing. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Mayor, I move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Aye. One last one, folks. Aye. Resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
offer a resolution entitled Establishing City Council Meeting Schedule for Calendar Year 2018, waive the reading and adopt the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Wow, we're done. Sorry about that, folks. We have to do that once a year at least. Okay, reports from boards and committees. Planning Commission minutes of September 5th, 2017. Get a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr. Dasky.
move to be in receipt of the minutes of the following meetings. Planning Commission on September 5th, 2017, and to consider independently any recommendations contained therein.
We have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. City Manager, you want to start this off, or we want to bring Alex up?
As Alex makes her way up, I did get to attend the meeting, but Mr. Warner and his wife own and manage a 14-person assisted living facility and have the neighboring parcel. And I think the first phase, if you will, is if they were to get this rezoning approved. Second phase for them would be, I guess, site development, but Alex, I think, can give us more details.
Good evening. That is correct. They have purchased the parcel that is directly north of where what Ye Old Schoolhouse used to be. There's currently 2 or 3 dwellings on it, and they're looking to expand their assisted living facility onto that additional parcel. So in order to do that, they have to go through the rezoning process first. So they're looking for rezoning from R2 to R3.
I thought we were growing pineapples.
Again?
Okay, anybody have any questions of Alex?
I got one probably not relevant question. Are we going to conjoin those properties as a single unit? Are we going to, so that they're going to become a single address?
That's correct. They're under 2 separate tax account numbers right now, and what will happen is once the rezoning is done and once they start going through their process, we will look at making that one tax account number and being all under one address.
Okay.
City Clerk, you have a card on this?
Only if there were questions.
Anybody have any questions of the owner happen to be here in the audience?
I have just one quick question. Just reading the,
Of who?
I guess I need to talk to one of the owners.
Okay, let's have the owner come forward, whoever had the card. And state your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Adam Warner, and we're at 1504 South Fisk Boulevard in Rockledge, and that's my wife. She's actually in charge, but I'll do my best to answer.
We understand.
Yeah.
All right, Frank.
Okay, so just, I'm looking at the minutes of the Planning Commission, and it looks like you don't really have plans to expand and take in more people. You're just looking for like some space for offices and to, is that correct? Or is your ultimate goal here to expand and take in more people?
Correct. Our ultimate goal would be to expand, but it's a multiple step process, and finances were just to get over the first hurdle, which would be to acquire the property and do the necessary zoning to someday expand. So there's no timetable set up, there's no plans, anything addition, just the rezoning application at this time. That would be our goal, however, is to expand.
Okay. Alex, if I, let me switch people on you here. At the point where they do want to expand and do some building, then they'd have to come with a site plan, and then we could.
Most definitely, they do, and Adam and I were actually just speaking a little while ago about how we'd like to have it be tied to the fact that it would be an assisted living facility or some sort of elderly care, and not necessarily be multifamily housing. And we thought that that was the right way to go.
Okay.
You do own the Ye Old Schoolhouse now, right? Now, you know about the new regulations the governor just signed into with you guys on the backup?
Yes, we're very aware of that. We actually didn't lose power the entire time because we were set up, Sunbelt dropped off a 45 kW unit.
Right.
And I actually reached out to our congressman because I think what they're doing is great. Our residents would have no idea that they switched from power to
Right.
generator power. In my opinion, though, it's a real, it would be a problem to have assisted living facilities owners purchase the generators, not only from a cost, but also, United Rentals, Sunbelt, they maintain small engines every day. We're good at giving care to the elderly. And for about $2,000, you can have a unit, whatever the junction box that's needed at the panel hooked up. And my suggestion was that if you had a contract with one of these suppliers where they could drop one off, it would save so much money, but also have a generator that worked and legally be tied to that. If a storm is named or the emergency management said, hey, it's going to hit Florida, I would way rather have that than have a $50,000 to $70,000 generator that isn't going to get used that much. So that's my 2 cents.
You only have 45 days from now, though, to figure that out?
We'll do whatever we need, but I did reach out and say, hey, could we make a little clause that I don't have to own it, I could rent it? We'll see what happens.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Ted?
Alex, will we have to extend the exception to the new area when they join them? Right now, it's got the exemptions only on the current property to allow the assisted living.
That was done in, since that exception was done, we currently have a new ordinance that allows for them, so the special exception is no longer needed.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions? What's the pleasure of council?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I move for the approval of the rezoning from R2 to R3 for Pineapple Farms Living.
We have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Good luck. No unfinished business. Consent business, Mr. Dasky. Is there anybody want to pull anything from consent before we approve consent? I'm looking at Ted.
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Dasky.
Okay. Move for the approval of these consent business items. First one is declaration of surplus property and subsequent sale of said property, impounded police vehicles for the police department, declaration of surplus property and subsequent sale of said property, electric hose reels for the fire department, amendments to Fraternal Order of Police FOP agreement for the city manager. Next one is proposal to continue receiving bulk sodium hypochlorite from Odyssey Manufacturing Wastewater Treatment Department. Sorry if I screwed that up. And memorializing council actions taken within regard to Hurricane Irma for the city manager.
Okay, we have a motion? Second. We have a second. This is consent business. There is no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's move on. New business, none. Petitions, remonstrances, and communications. At this time, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this city council about anything to do with the city of Rockledge? Now is your opportunity. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak to this city council about anything to do with the city of Rockledge? Seeing none, let's move on. Reports. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Two items. One item of business is actually a walk-on item where the cost share agreement that the city currently has with the St. Johns River Water Management District with regard to the septic to sewer conversion project. The city was required to complete those connections by September 30th. Of course, due to Hurricane Irma, that will not take place. And so we've reached out to St. Johns River, and there's they've agreed to grant us a 45-day extension. So that would mean that the project would close out on November 15th of 2017. So if council would perhaps consider a motion to approve our acceptance of that 45-day extension, then I can put it on the council agenda October 4, just under consent to formalize it, but they're asking for the mayor to sign this acceptance letter by September 30th.
Okay, what's the pleasure of council? Anybody have any questions?
No.
Motion to accept the recommendation and sign the extension with St. John's Water Management District.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. No discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. And the other item, of course, as we all know, I'm thankful that in speaking with each of you individually and staff that thankfully our homes came through the hurricane with minimal damage. And just wanted to say thank you to all of council and all of staff for the support before, during, and after the storm. A few things just to spotlight, if you will, this unprecedented storm. I know everybody's trying to sort of compare it to Matthew, but I would think we could perhaps agree that Matthew was kind of a brush along this coast, whereas this was a storm event for sure. The city had transferred its phone lines here at City Hall to the EOC so that at no time did phones go unanswered until we truly lost phone service entirely. So there were several hours Sunday night into Monday morning where we just could not simply answer the phone anywhere. but we answered it all Saturday, all day Sunday. So that was a little bit new and different from Hurricane Matthew. Also, on the city's website and the city's Facebook page, as updates became available and information became available, those two media methods were updated and things were posted into Monday morning at 3:30 a.m. They were working hard to find hotspots to be able to post things, so citizens who could access that technology could in fact do that. As soon as it was safe Monday for crews to go out, public safety, crews went out to begin to look at streets and stoplights and begin to try to clear roadways and have stop signs at non-operational stoplights to try and begin to get out there and begin to protect the city. And so that began, again, Monday as soon as the roads were safe. All of us were in the EOC and working as quickly as we could Monday, as it became safe to be out on the roads. This city was, I believe, the first and perhaps the only, but one of few that reopened for business Tuesday. And our employees came back in Tuesday and began to clear roads again. We actually began debris collection as early as Tuesday. And among a multitude of other things, I'm just naming a few highlights. As you all know, everybody was working hard and doing all they could possibly do as early as Monday afternoon, evening, and into Tuesday. Debris was collected every day since the storm has passed, including this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday. In addition, a contractor his services were also engaged in addition to city employees and city crews to collect debris. As many of you know, the household waste was collected Thursday. The entire city was covered Thursday into Friday morning, because we couldn't quite get it all Thursday. Commercial waste was collected Saturday, and I think even into Sunday. Again, they couldn't cover the entire city Saturday. They were working Sunday. Several crews volunteered to work Sunday. And so these were the types of things, again, just to try and begin to restore the city and collect the debris and the waste, but also while doing it safely. I know that there were people were just working hard. So I just want to say thank you to the staff, everyone in the back of the room worked very, very hard, and we continue to do so to try and restore the city to its former state, if you will. But that may take a little time, but of course we're working hard. The goal is to have 95% or more of the debris collected in this city within 30 days. As you all may know and have read or seen in the news, some cities just began collecting debris actually today, this week. So thankfully, we're a week in advance of some other cities throughout the county. So I just wanted to say a thank you to all the staff, all of council for all your support. I know several of you were in the EOC, in and out of the EOC, and I know I've talked to each one of you. So thank you for all your support throughout this event. And I'll stop there, Mayor, and turn it back to council.
Okay. Thank you, Brenda. I need a motion for the litigation report.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Move to be in receipt of the city attorney's litigation report.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mr. City Attorney.
Number one is still there. Filing the summary judgment motions, depending on what the defendant says and does in the near future. I've noticed the second case, the forfeiture of $77,690 for trial. Next thing that'll happen is a judge will schedule a scheduling conference. We set out all the priority dates when things have to be accomplished and put us on a trial docket after the judge enters the order. Second page, the forfeiture of $3,251 cases gone to final judgment. Satisfaction has already been entered. That case will be disappearing. The forfeiture of $4,753. Didn't even have to file the complaint. Sat down, worked it out with the attorney and the claimant, and that has already been paid and satisfied, and those two are going to disappear, so we're down to two cases.
Great. Great report. Thank you very much. Okay, reports from the dais. City Clerk.
I think I made it through my first budget cycle unscathed.
You did a good job, too. With a smile on your face the whole time.
It's been fun.
Mr. City Attorney, anything else?
Nothing else, thank you.
Mr. Hartzell.
Last night, or yesterday afternoon, I had an opportunity to receive an award.
I heard about
I'd like to thank that Dr. Fetro and Clerk Lisa and City Advocate, Community Advocate Mr. Wilson were there. I think there were about 400 people there. About 20 of them were my students. 2 of them put me in for the award. It was a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Space Club.
That's great.
So, boom, boom, boom. Had to give a speech too, knock kneed and everything. But got through that one. Looking forward to doing more things. And it was exciting.
Great.
I think I may have been the only recipient of that who's had their mother there.
Oh.
It's a Lifetime Achievement Award, and the other 2 recipients, one ran the Delta and the Atlas programs for 20 years. The other ran the LEM program, the Lunar Excursion Module program, and logistics for the shuttle. So I'm in the clouds up there with these guys.
I bet.
It's something else that I got that, but exciting.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Mr. Dasky.
Just 2 quick things. I want to echo the city manager's comments on thanking the staff, the city employees, the volunteers, everyone that helped out during, after, and before the hurricane. It was incredible. I seen city workers in my subdivision at least 3 times within a day or 2 after the hurricane stopped. I had visits from city employees, which was grateful during the storm, and to make sure I was okay. So that was a neat thing. But just thank you to everyone that put themselves out there, and great job by all of you. It's really appreciated. I know there was probably some negative out there, but you're going to experience that in a storm of that type. I told my wife by the end of the week, I was not only mentally spent, but I was physically spent, and I'm sure everyone else was as well. So I'm sure there was some negativity, but overall, I would say probably 95% of it was all positive that I heard, which is a really good thing. You know, and just one quick number, and I don't want to take a lot of time, but when I seen like 13,000 properties in Rockledge were without power, you know, I started looking at it, and I'm like, that's dang near 100%, and it's incredible. I probably got more calls on that alone. When is FPL coming out, and do you know anyone at FPL? I did tell one person I knew pretty well, if I knew FPL and I could get hold of them and make a difference, I would. Because I was sitting there sweating just like they were. So overall, though, great job. Thank you. And hopefully we're done this year and don't have to worry about it until future years. Second thing is I will be out of town on vacation from September 30th until October 8th. So I will be missing the October 4th meeting.
Again with your vacations.
It's, yeah. Someone's got to do it.
I guess. Dr. Smith.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I have a second ditto in reference to the city manager's comments about the council, the staff, the administrators, department heads. I have heard nothing but good comments throughout, how responsive, how well things went with the city. So I concur with you 100%. And I'd like to say to the staff and everyone else, you did a wonderful job. I did have an opportunity to visit Virginia Park. Some of the people who are not on the council for years, well, I think I'm the only one. Some of us know that we've had a bad flooding problem over there. And I was called upon. I went over, I walked the neighborhood, and the people understood on Carolina and Georgia and VAR, the work that has taken place over there, they're so pleased with it. But on the other hand, on Dr. Bob Anderson Lake, it overflowed into Virginia Park, in particular on Georgia, and that was. But they understood that it was flooding everywhere. So, and it's just. But they were real happy. Also, I would like to say thanks to our community advocate, Steve Wilson. I gave him a call. I'd gotten several calls from some individuals for some sand, bag sand. And Steve gave me a lead, and sure enough, I got an old Jeep and went over there, and we told the people where to get the sand. A person went over there, and that was great. And also hats off to Captain Hartzell. He stopped by the house here, and another gentleman, can't recall the name, just checking to see how things were going. I just think everything A+. I yield.
Thank you. Dr. Ferguson. I kind of want to share the same sentiments and the same appreciation to Dr. Fetro and to our staff. Thank you again, Dr. Fetro, of course, for all the updates and during the storm, but even not just us personally, but even through Facebook. It was really good to see our city and the image that was portrayed by our city, which of course is real efforts and real hard work. And so not to repeat too many times, but I don't think we can say thank you enough for all of the hard work from our staff, and of course from Captain Hartzell as well, the visits, and just how well the city fared because of, just being on top of things the way you guys were. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Frank Forrester.
Well said.
Well, I knew that our workers were doing a great job, and I didn't realize how well, and so I told Dr. Fetro this the other day. I saw a news report late last week that talked about how cities were starting their cleanup sometime this week, and I'm thinking by the time they started, we've got over half of ours out of the way, and just our workers did a great job. A lot of hot, tired guys coming through the neighborhood on the back of trucks, loading stuff up as early as Tuesday, maybe even Monday. They just did a phenomenal job. And another thing that I really appreciated was there were on our Facebook social media posts, there was an occasional, what word do I want to use? Negative Nelly that complained about. Well, I don't think any of the negative Nellies got less than about 15 responses from other citizens telling them to relax and things are really going well. They just don't know it. And I'm going to get Mayor Price an extension cord, so the next person that calls him about when the power is going to be connected, he can plug it into an outlet in his garage and share it with them or something. I don't know. I think everybody experienced a bit of that, thinking that we're the power company, and we're really not. But I also want to comment on the citizens of Rockledge. I know that some of the things, my neighbors and I got together and shared generators and shared food out of the freezers, and I am confident that that was not limited to my neighborhood. I think that went on all over the city, where people were helping their neighbors, helping put up shutters, helping with power, helping with whatever they could do to make their neighbors more comfortable and safe. And I think that helps explain why this is such a great town to live in. So that's all I've got.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
That was one heck of a storm. And I've been through some storms being a native. I'll follow up on Frank. I live on a cul-de-sac. I've got 3 other neighbors. I lost 10 foot of soffitting, and one of my neighbors said, yeah, I lost some too. I got to get it fixed today. I said, well, can you wait till I get back so you can show me how to do it? Because I ain't got any idea how. I've never done soffit. And he didn't come back, and I missed it. and I ran into him at Rockledge Mower. He's getting his chainsaw fixed. I'm getting my chainsaw fixed. And he goes, you get your soffit fixed? I said, no. And he goes, you going home? And we worked it out, and he came over. And not only did he fix it, he provided me a 10-foot section of something. I'm not sure what the pieces are called, but in 10 minutes, he had my soffit fixed. It was a $500 fix. He was able to put all the old components back up with one exception, and he replaced it. Another neighbor, tree fell across my driveway, completely across my driveway. Every vehicle we own is on one side. Of course, that's the wrong side. And what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I said, maybe I'll cut a hole through the tree. And he worked with me for about 3 hours, cutting a hole into the tree. It's still there, by the way. I haven't got my chainsaw back. But we cut a hole that my truck can go through and everybody else. So what Frank was saying was just exactly correct. Everybody helped everybody. Back to business. Saturday, October 7th, 1 o'clock, Rockledge United Methodist Church. Benjamin Mellert, Rockledge resident, will be getting his Eagle Scout Court of Honor. You are invited. The city will be presenting him a certificate. Sir, if you're there, you get to do it. If you don't, that's my job, and I'm running out of opportunities.
October to what?
7th.
I'll be in town.
Okay. Well, they know me. They'd like to see you, because I'm at all of them. Anyhow, Benjamin Mellett, yeah, young guy, great guy.
What time, Pat?
1 o'clock. And there'll be ice cream and cake immediately after.
I'll be there.
I knew that. Next topic, the October meeting of the Space Coast TPO. I will not be in town. I'll be in Washington, Federal Action Strike Team. I don't know if Frank
On
had,
the 12th?
Thought it was
yes.
canceled.
I will be out of town.
Can we vote for a substitute to attend that meeting if somebody's able to attend? Because we did not have a meeting in September because of the storm.
And that's October to what?
That'll be October 12th. It's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, by the
Leaving
way.
the 11th through the 15th. Is there anybody that can make that meeting? If not, we can always send the city manager.
That, we need to do one or the other. That's going to be a fairly lengthy agenda, as we did not have the September meeting.
Okay. Looks like it'd be the city manager. Everybody
Okay.
else works.
Today, with Dr. Fetro and a number of other people from municipalities around Brevard, we attended the Brevard Legislative Delegation meeting at the Government Center. It was amazing. Our number one priority was local self-government, also known as home rule. That was everybody's number one, and everybody explained it. Everybody told them 50 years ago we changed the Constitution, granting ourselves that, and I think they heard it this time. At least the 6 up there heard it.
Yeah, the 6 there did.
Friday, we have a symposium at 8 o'clock at the Space Coast Convention, the Holiday Inn, 52995, put on by the Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce. It's going to be Congressman Posey and a number of people giving us kind of like a state of the state, but individual perspectives. 3 more things. Dr. Fetro and I talked today. One of the issues that we discussed that people might have had issues with was communications from the city on what was going on. If you lose power, I lose a lot of stuff. My phone would not connect to the internet, and so I don't know what's going on, but I could get text messages. I got those repetitively from the Emergency Operations Center. So I suggested to her that we look into some methodology of using a text format where the citizens would actually sign up to receive those texts. If you opt not to sign up, shame on you. You don't learn what's going on. But I would not have known about the garbage pickup starting last week or this week. Which one was it? Kind of melded together.
Thursday last week.
And I ran into Ken at City Hall, and he said, because of the amount of time people had been without electric, a lot of food was spoiling, and it's starting to smell really bad. We got to get it picked up. I would not have known that had I not run into Ken. So I think that would be something that would be doable.
We can do it through the Nixle.
Nixle, yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to investigate. They're looking into it. We talked about people doing unusual things. I got a phone call from Art Edwards. If you remember me on the cooking grill, Art's my partner for 20 years now. And if he has a problem, he calls me. And he called me and he said, Lake Jimmy Weaver's not draining and our streets are flooding. Can you get somebody to do something? Well, I can't call Ken. I have to call Dr. Fetro, who has to call Ken. The funny part is I had to call Ken to get Dr. Fetro's phone number to call Ken. But somehow that worked out. But anyhow, I decided I was going to go right down and look. I live right around the corner.
Yeah.
When I got there, Art was out there in the rain with a rake cleaning the drain. That's the people that live in the city.
Yep.
Great thing. One last thing. For those that doubted it, Matthew Trine does own a golf shirt. I've seen him in it. I yield.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the staff. I was there. I was watching them in person all night, and everybody did a great job. Everybody did their job, and that's what it was all about. They knew what their job was, and they did their job. And the phones were ringing up until about 1 o'clock, Matt, at the EOC, or residents calling us up to about 1 o'clock, and possibly we lost phone line after that, I think. But I've been through a lot of hurricanes, and this one really wasn't even a Category 1, guys, that hit us, but it kicked our butt. It was 12 hours of rain at 20 inches of rain, and which is unheard of. It only happened to us one other time, but we had that much rain in 72 hours, I think it was, instead of 12 hours. And all the streets flooded, everything backed up, but they did exactly what they were supposed to do. The drainage that was put into place, the plan that was put into place from 1989 worked exactly how it was supposed to work. And that's what residents don't understand. The streets are supposed to flood. As long as it doesn't come in your house, that's what it's all about. It's a backup system. When the water can't go out fast enough, the streets are designed to flood and back up. By 7 o'clock in the morning, the streets had receded. All the water was gone. And it worked exactly the way it was designed to work. That's what was great about the system. And you have to give credit to the staff that was here in 1989, to the council people that were here in 19. There's only one person who was here in 1989, it was Joe Lee. But they had the vision in 1989 to change it. It took 25 years to put that system in place. And if that Bob Anderson Lake hadn't have been built, there'd been water in those houses in Virginia Park. The streets flooded, but they're supposed to flood. That's the whole idea. And it worked like it was supposed to work, which is great. As far as garbage pickup and collection, there's only 2 cities in Brevard County that have their own garbage pickup, Rockledge and the city of Titusville. When I go to my quarterly mayor meetings, all I hear about, it's one of the #1 topics from the 16 mayors, the complaints they get about garbage pickup, because they all sub it out to Western Waste, and there's another one, I can't think of the name. Waste Pro and Western Waste.
Management.
Yeah. And everybody has the same complaints. The yard trash gets picked up once a month. The garbage, the way they pick it up and sling their stuff around, and all the trash is in the street. And I know our guys are completely different from that. And they showed up Tuesday. They left their homes, they left their families, they came to work, and they started working Tuesday, and they haven't stopped all the way through the weekend and all the way through this week. And we've got half the city cleaned up already. Rockledge Drive was the worst I'd ever seen it out of all the hurricanes. And it was because of the water, I'm sure, the 20 inches of rain. And we had several washouts of the road, which we've never had before, to that extent at least. And the power lines were down, but everything by Sunday night, I think it was pretty much up and running. As far as being the mayor, I do not control Florida Power and Light. 13,000 people in the city of Rockledge thought I controlled Florida Power and Light. They called me to see when I was going to get Florida Power and Light out there. And we have an issue, and our issue, me and the city manager was on a conference call with 3 different counties with the CEO of Florida Power and Light. And I spoke, and what I said to him was, I appreciate your work, I appreciate what you're doing, and I know you guys are working hard and you're getting it back up, and you're gonna have it back up by Sunday, or Monday. I think they changed it to Monday at the last minute. But what's not working for us is we have no direct contact with FPL. We have to have, me and the city manager or somebody in this city has to have a direct contact because of the people are calling us and expecting us to have contact, and we have no contact with FPL other than the one FPL guy at the EOC, which I never saw the man. I don't think you ever did either, did you? So we really had no contact with FPL, and he assured us that, you know, we're going to have a post-storm debriefing, and we're going to discuss this in the future, and hopefully in the future that we're going to have a representative for every city that we deal with FPL. So we know what's happening when the residents call us, when the hospital calls us, when the assisted living facilities and the nursing homes call us about when we're going to get power. We have an answer for them, as well as our lift stations, which is very important. People don't understand. Your lift stations is one of the first things you have to get running. Without lift stations running, it backs up, your sewer backs up. And people don't want their sewer to back up. So you have to get lift stations running first. And it took us over a week. I think we just got it today, didn't we, Jimmy? Last one at 9:30 this morning. But we had the equipment, guys. We had the backup generators. These guys with the crash carts, these guys went around, they round the clock and kept these lift stations running. When I heard all the other cities on the conference call begging for generators, I couldn't believe they'd have no backup generators. None of these other cities with their lift stations, they were completely out. The lift stations were out. The sewer was bubbling up in the street because they had no way of pumping it. And I couldn't believe that. We're one of the only cities that got all of our stuff running and kept the poop out of the street. We kept it running, which was unusual. And I can't say enough about Ken with the garbage department. Your garbage pickup and your debris pickup, I mean, it's amazing. I didn't get any complaints from citizens about garbage pickup. I didn't get any complaints about the city. The only complaints I got was FPL. Everybody thought I was FPL. And that was the biggest issue I had. And I know some of the other people I've heard have had complaints about the city, but I had no complaints about anything with the city other than FPL. And I will end with that because I know the meeting we want to get out of here. But I got one other thing first, Pat. For those of you who care, this is the end of our summer attire starting next month. For those of you who care, Frank and Pat. Okay? What do you got, Pat?
That was funny. I do have that contact with FPL. I'll tell you, Bart Gatchins, I've known for 20-something years. Bart was in Barcelona, Spain, when the storm started coming, when it changed the track. He was in Barcelona. He cut his vacation short with his family, celebrating his daughter's college education, graduation, got on a plane and spent like 20 hours coming back to be here. So our guy was not here, and he did everything he could do to get here. So
he started communicating with us on Friday. Bart started communicating with us on Friday.
Probably when he got back, or close to it.
But Bart has 16 communities in Brevard County. Plus he has Indian River County, doesn't he? He has several counties. He has several counties. So we need something more than that. I told the FPL CEO. I said we got to have better contact than that.
He needs a backup.
Every city has to have a representative that they deal with alone. And that's the only way this is going to work in the future, I think. So hopefully something good will come out of this. Every hurricane we have, we learn more. We're better at it every time. And even though I don't think we really make a lot of big mistakes because we've learned over the years since 04 and 05, all the ones we've had. But I just think we're getting better. Joe, did you have something?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Council, I would be remiss. In fact, you stole my thunder at the end when you mentioned Mr. Ken Poole. Let me tell you, his department was the quarterback, the Hail Mary kick throwers and everyone else for this hurricane season. And the individuals on those trucks and several people said, well, look, who's coordinating this? I have trucks everywhere, they're just moving. And Chief Lasada with the police department, public safety, and the firemen, they said, the people are everywhere. Things are so well coordinated. And we know what Mr. Poole and his group, because many times, I know I didn't get my lights back on until Saturday, this past Saturday. And the freezer and refrigerator, all that food was gone. And naturally, the bags were twice as heavy, and et cetera. And people said there were no complaints from the Public Works Department. I mean, those individuals, it was raining, and they had their jackets on, still working. And we're just fortunate to have the staff. We're policymakers, but we're not out there where the rubber meets the road. But this past storm was the worst that I've ever been in. But our staff, Mr. Poole, the policemen, the firemen, the city staff, kudos to everybody. It was just, I think, let's give our staff a hand.
Okay, is there anything else before this council? If not, I close at 7.